to have a serious conversation because there are a couple of things that are going on, things that are being said from fans to media, from fans to other people, from presidents to media, from governors to media, from governors to fans. There's so much shit going on. We got to talk about the truth here tonight. Now, I'm about to go on a little bit of a rant here. If you like it, great. If you don't want to listen to it, we got the basketball game on right here in the studio. You can watch it. But we got to have a serious conversation about what is going on with LSU athletics right now. Because quite honestly, guys, it is a circus. It is a flat-out circus. So this is what we're going to do. Every AYS sports show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. We are loved to be partnered with our good friends over at FanDuel. I highly suggest if you have Apple or Android phones, you need to download the FD Sportsbook app. You want to hit on those parlays. You want to place those futures. You want to place those bets. You do that with our partners over at FanDuel, and we're greatly honored to be partnered this football season with our good friends over at FanDuel. Every betting platform everything that you need in a betting platform is with our partners over at FanDuel. We love them. That's why we're partnered with them. We are grateful that they are here with us through the entire football season. However, if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, go over to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. We love them, but we got a lot that we need to get to here. So we greatly appreciate them. Got to get to something very pressing. They're going to align with us on what we're about to talk about. I promise you that they're going to align with us on this. Dr. Wade Rousse was announced as LSU's president yesterday after the Board of Supervisors came to a conclusion that he would be the next president of Louisiana State University. Today has been a step back for LSU in what continues to be a merry-go-round in a circus of constant lack of communication and bad decision-making and a total clown show on how we're doing some of these things. Why we can't just come up with a formulated plan to show at least the appearance of alignment has completely gone out the door. Today, Dr. Wade Rousse in a press conference said the following things after his first act as the president was to appoint Verge Ausberry as the sitting athletics director for LSU. After some heat came down over the last 24 hours against the Verge Ausberry appointment, political, from fans, and from what I understand behind closed doors, from some athletes about the appointment of Verge Ausberry. Today, Dr. Rousse, President Rousse, whatever you want to call him, or just Wade Rousse, or Rousse, however you say it, came out today and said some things he should have never stated, like the following. When asked about Verge Ausberry in the appointment, he says, "We will assess the situation as things move forward." Assess what? You just appointed the man as the sitting athletic director. That's what you did when you took off the interim tag. So what do you mean that we will assess the situation? Is he not going to be your long-term athletics director? But it wouldn't stop there. He also would come out and say that he did not know all of the details about the Hush Blackwell report of the Title IX scandal that involved Verge Ausberry. How in the good wide world did you appoint him and not know? How does that happen? Now, later on today, about 5 o'clock today, President Rousse came out and said that he has the full confidence in Verge Ausberry to make the selection for the next head coach of LSU football. So he walked things back. But some of the things that he said this morning are absolutely comical. Either you didn't know about what happened in 2021 in the Hush Blackwell report, so you came in, you didn't do your job, you didn't do your due diligence, and because you got pushback, now you're backtracking. Or number two, what you did was you did know, you didn't care, and alignment meant more to you, which that's fine. And when you got pushback, you then cowered down. If you're going to make a move, make a move. Don't keep making a mockery out of the situation. Now, from what I've heard behind closed doors, the governor apparently doesn't like the move. And this is going to be a merry-go-round of issues that are happening here. But as much as he put in Wade Rousse as the president, he will take him out when in July, he's got to do things in reference to the Board of Supervisors and elevating people. Wade Rousse had to know of the scandal that happened with Verge Ausberry. So then when you're told about it and it's now a thing, you can't backtrack. You can't not have a national search for the athletics director and appoint a man to the new athletics director if you don't know everything that's going on. This is not McNeese. This is not something that can be swept under the rug. And don't you dare tell me that no one told you that this wasn't coming. On Friday, when Scott Woodward, or when we did a show about Scott Woodward stepping down and stepping away from athletics director, and Verge Ausberry was announced as the interim athletics director, I came out here and said, listen, whether you like it, love it, or hate it, people legitimately are going to attack LSU over the Hush Blackwell report. You say, well, Blake, it's your fault because you brought it up. It was going to happen anyway because before I did a show, the USA Today came out with an article about it. The USA Today came out with an article. Wasn't the only one. The Athletic came out with an article about it and referenced it. ESPN came out with an article and referenced it. But yet you're blaming the local media for bringing it up. No, it was always going to be a thing. But you took a step in the right direction, regardless of the heat that you took. You made a decision. Now, Dr. Rousse would say, well, hey, I thought that we needed to show that we had alignment. Well, then don't back down from it. This is LSU. This isn't McNeese. You can't do that little pity-patty shit that you do at an FCS institution when it comes to athletics. LSU is a global brand. It is a national brand. And every single move that you make in LSU athletics is going to be put under a microscope. So if you wanted to appoint Verge Ausberry, you should have just said, we're appointing him. He came out today, and everybody's getting on Piper Hutchinson. This is a direct quote. I saw this quote come from him. So if you don't believe her, believe me, because I saw it come out of his mouth. He said he doesn't understand the difference between interim and permanent. Brother, do what? Having an interim tag tells everybody in the country that you have not made a decision about who your permanent person is. And when you leaked, when whoever leaked it to Ross Dellinger and Pete Thamel that he was going to be the permanent athletics director, you meant it. What you did is you got political backlash from this and you backed down. Why? Guys, this is not McNeese. He cannot do this. And if you think for one Rudy Poo second that he is going to give over any power that he has at the current moment in reference to who your next head coach is, I'm telling you right now, I got beachfront property in Iowa to sell your ass. regardless of your beliefs about the Hush Blackwell report, guys, they confirmed it. This isn't something that's made up in the atmosphere. It happened. Other people were involved in that. It wasn't just Verge. But it doesn't matter if it's just Verge or not him. It happened. Then you backtracked. Then you said, no, he's going to be the permanent AD right now. But he didn't say permanent. He backtracked on that too. He said, Verge Ausberry is the acting athletics director. What a great legal term by your attorneys to not get your shit completely looked down upon about how you've completely mismanaged this situation. Then you have people out there that are attacking the local media in this. Guys, this is not national politics. This is over an athletics department that they have made a circus. And because you politically align on the right, which I don't care where you politically align, if it was the left, I wouldn't give a shit, nor do I give a shit what political aisle you lean on, just so we're all clear. Guys, they're making a mockery out of this. You showed alignment, and then you shit on that alignment. You can't do that. Because just when you were making a step in the right direction, now you take a step back. So when a head coach sees this as an example, when a head coach that you're trying to get here sees this, well, look, what is Verge Ausberry? You said he wasn't the interim. You said he wasn't the permanent. You said he was the acting. You said, I guess we'll see what happens here. So basically, you're throwing all of this on the feet of Verge Ausberry if he succeeds or doesn't succeed. Basically, you're putting it at his feet in case you all strike out, so you have somebody that you can place on the chopping block. LSU fans that are constantly in my mentions, blaming the local media. Are you dumb? This is the political nature of this, whether it be Landry, whether it be Dr. Rousse. How are you blaming the local media for the circus that is unveiling in front of our faces? How? How? You could have hired a permanent athletics director within 30 days. You could have done it before you went and got a new head coach. It could have been tough. It would have been tough, but you did it within 12 hours of having the appointment, which, by the way, guys, he doesn't have right now in an official title, meaning Dr. Rousse doesn't start until November the 17th. But his first act was to get involved in athletics, and then his second act was to walk it back. And you're blaming the local media for covering it. You're blaming the local media for asking questions. You're blaming the local media for just saying, brother, what? What are you doing? What are you saying? Guys, here's what happened. Dr. Rousse took heat for appointing Verge Ausberry, whether it be that people just didn't like the hire or whether it was the Hush Blackwell report, for whatever reason, and he backtracked. He shouldn't have done that. What he should have done is he should have taken some time to see what everything was going on, talk to every head coach that is at the program currently, and how things have actually gone behind closed doors. We've all known for 3 weeks that you were getting this job. We've all known it. We've all known that this was a political appointment by Governor Landry. And right now, Governor Landry's got egg on his face. He's got egg on his face in reference to this. You could have taken your time, But whether it be the Board of Supervisors, whether it be Dr. Rousse, whether it be Governor Landry, none of it matters on who has pushed back on this right now. Whoever was the decision maker in all of this to appoint Verge within 12 hours of the appointment of the president, then to only within 24 hours to walk it back is idiotic. Where does that put Verge? It puts Verge Ausberry. Let me tell you what this does to Verge. It almost puts Verge Ausberry in a situation where he might not be able to recover from a national a national view of things, because when he goes and talks to coaches, when he goes to talk to agents, they're going to ask him, well, brother, are you going to be the ultimate decision maker moving forward? And if you're not, then why would we want to align with you when you might not even be there? Like it, love it, or hate it. Be in the comments. Say what you want. Becky says, rant, move on. Becky, you can move on. If you don't think that this is not a massive deal, here's my point from people that are in the comments. How do you not see that you're setting yourself up for failure? How do you not see that this has become a complete circus? You want to know why I make a big deal out of it? Because it's the freaking thing that I cover. So the athletics director is a big deal when we cover sports that is athletics. So when you hire AD and then less than 12 hours later you walk it back, you're saying, oh, move on. Don't talk about it. It doesn't matter. Are you crazy? If this is an LSU town hall, guys, either you don't understand the magnitude of what's going on and you need to look in the mirror and say, what really is going on here? You're making a mockery of yourself. You're putting Verge Ausberry in a no-win situation. Either he delivers one of the best head coaches in the country or he gets his legs cut out from under him. You showed by your actions, by appointing him as the permanent, and then less than 6 hours later, you cut his legs out from under him. Nobody's going to respect that now. So you didn't do your due diligence. You knew you were getting this job 3 weeks ago. You knew it. I knew it. Everybody knew that you were getting this job. So whether you did or you didn't know about Wade Rousse or didn't know about Verge Ausberry, and the pushback that you would get back shows me two things: that you didn't understand the job that you were taking, that you didn't understand everything that was going on, and you didn't understand the pushback that you would get, good, bad, or indifferent. So the first act of your sitting president has been a shitty one. And you know what you did? If you're Jeff Landry, you moved on a guy in William Tate that wanted athletics to be the front porch of the entire university, who all he cared about was alignment, who would go in a meeting with Jay Johnson and ask him what he needed. So when Jay Johnson wanted renovations to Alex Box, guys, the truth of the matter was it was William Tate that got it done. With all due respect, and I mean this with all due respect, if you are in the camp of saying that this is not a big deal, you are wrong. You're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself the question. If you're Lane Kiffin, Florida's open, I could stay at Ole Miss, and LSU's open. Do you think that Florida's not going to offer around the same amount of money that you are? Oh, Blake, we're going to drop a massive bag on him. So is everybody else. So is everybody else. It doesn't limit you from who you can go and get, but you're making it harder on yourself. You're making this situation so much worse than it could be and that it should be. Let me tell you the situation that should be happening right now. Here's what should be happening. You should be going after a permanent athletic director right now. Right now. You showed that within 6 hours that you can make that appointment. Sounds good. Sounds good. Even though I don't think legally they could, but I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. Then you cut the legs out from under him. Then you get in a situation where people are like, listen, man, I don't know what the structure is. You could have hired an AD within 30 days to be your permanent guy. It would have been tough. Or you could have done something else. You could have gone, if you're the president of the university, having Verge alongside you and say, listen, whoever the next head coach of LSU football is going to be, we will have you have say-so on who you want as the next athletics director. Who wouldn't take that deal? Meaning, if you want Verge Ausberry, you can keep him. You can make him your athletics director. But we're going to conduct some interviews. We think so highly of you that we want you to be a part of the entire structure. Blake, you can't do that. Why not? You forced Scott out the door, and then you made a mockery of Verge Ausberry for everybody to see. And the bad part about it is Verge he's an LSU guy, and you made a mockery out of him within 24 hours. He is the guy, he's not the guy. And every single time that you talk about the coaching carousel, you're going to question who really has the power. Because LSU hasn't even made an announcement about him being the permanent AD. You know why? Because he's not. Now, there's no telling what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow, he might be the overall permanent athletics director for all we know. Because it seems like every single day that we wake up, there's a new ride along this crazy circus that we're dealing with. To Governor Landry, to Dr. Wade Rousse, to Verge Ausberry, to the Board of Supervisors, you got to get your shit together. You've got to get your shit together. People around the country are looking at you and pointing and laughing. They're pointing and laughing. So wait, let me ask you this. Let's think about this from the opposite side of things. Let's just say, for an example, that the University of Alabama was going through the same exact thing that you're going through right now, hypothetically speaking. I know what all of you would be chanting on. Bama is burning is the kind of envision that I would see here. But now all of a sudden you're not. Now all of a sudden, because it's happening to you, oh, Blake, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Are you, brother, what? If this were anybody else doing these level of things, you would be pointing at them and saying, there's no way that they land a massive head coach. Now, here is the positive news. And this is the only positive news that holds weight at the current moment. This is still LSU. This still is a top 3 job, in my humble opinion, in the country. And be blunt with you, I don't think it's 3. You have the infrastructure in the state of being the only P4 school in the state. You have one of the most enriched talent bases in the entire country per capita. You get paid handsomely, and you will have the resources. So with all of the circus, there is one thing that outweighs this entire thing. The one thing that outweighs it is it's still LSU. The question is, are you right now showing your best foot and putting your best foot forward? All of you that are saying that move on, what do you want me to do? What do you want anybody to do? Do you want us not to talk about the circus that's happened over the last 24 hours with this athletics director situation? I don't know what to say. I will say this in leaving before we get to comments here. I can be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. It worries me. It worries me. It worries me that you hired a president who made a decision that the governor didn't back, and now everybody's backtracking. It makes me nervous that the decision maker in all of this came out yesterday and said, I plan and intend to be massively involved in the head coaching search, and I plan to move quickly. And then the next day, the first decision you made, you just swept it under the rug. Oh, that didn't happen. Didn't happen. Oh, we'll see. I have full confidence in Verge that he's going to get the great guy. Yeah, no, you don't. Because if you did, you would have stood behind him. Why didn't you stand behind him? Why did you make a comment in stating, I don't even know what the interim tag means? Brother, you were one. If you don't know what something is, why don't you ask somebody that's been around the block or two? So either you were incompetent, didn't understand the level of the job, or quite honestly just didn't care to know what you needed to do here. It's a joke. I lied. Last thing I'd say, I don't know Piper Hutchinson. I don't know her. With all due respect to her, this is not a shot. I just found out this week that she exists as a human being. Have never met her, never talked to her. Because everything that she's reporting on Twitter is exactly what I'm seeing coming out of Dr. Rousse's mouth. And you're saying, oh, she's on one side of the aisle politically. Gosh, she's reporting what he's saying. You're blaming the local media for this shit show is by far the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life. All right. Let's get moving here. We're not going to get negative moving forward, meaning the rest of this show. We got to actually talk about football, and that's what we're going to do here. The LSU do's and don'ts. What LSU has got to do to beat Alabama. We'll get to that next. We're not even going to talk about the don'ts. We're going to talk about positivity. Because quite honestly, mentally, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. What are the 5 things LSU is going to have to do to beat Alabama? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's get to a couple of these comments here. As LSU is winning their first basketball game here. John Patton, official. John Patton Jr. became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, John. We greatly appreciate it. Did post some content today on YouTube on the members-only content. Glad that you're joining us. Fuzzy became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. There's multiple things of content on the YouTube channel where you are now a member of. I highly suggest that you can go there and watch today's video because we post some content there. Along with Kyle. Kyle also became a member on the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate you doing that for us. And we greatly appreciate all 3 of you guys becoming a part of the YouTube members-only team. Lucas with a $2 super chat says, let's go Tigers. Let's ruin Bama's season. Would love nothing more. I would love nothing more for Frank Wilson and company to go out there and completely smack that ass. Would love nothing more. Well, that's just me. Ricky Pope with a $5 super chat says, are people trying to destroy LSU because everybody needs to stay out of this except those who want to see us succeed? Ricky, this is where I massively disagree with you. What do you want us to talk about? You don't have a permanent athletic director, and they walked out there and made it a mockery today. Dude, are y'all, brother, thank you for the money. Thank you for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not doing my job if we don't talk about it, brother. Just move on. Just act like it's not happening. I don't understand that premise. I don't get it. You don't want us talking about the future of this program. Bro, what? Guys, 75%, if not more, of my revenue, of every media revenue stream comes from football. What do you mean? They care about the direction of where things are going. Ricky also says the only thing aligned right now is stupidity called educated people claiming to be in charge. Now, that is very true. That is very, very, very true, Ricky. I agree with that. Jerry Morrison with a $5 super chat, also a member on the YouTube channel. You could join him today by becoming a member on the YouTube channel. Says, looks horrible in using Verge as a scapegoat. 1,000%. You cut his legs right out from under him. So let me ask you this question. Like, how does this conversation go? Let's call 1-800-SEXTON. Jimmy, I'm Verge. Jimmy, Verge, are you the permanent AD? I'll call you back. Maybe he says, no, but I'm the guy in charge. Are you? Because the president said literally in a press conference 10 minutes ago that he's the man in charge. Just cut his legs out from under him. They better get together and align quickly and stop making a mockery of shit. Hey, here's a plan. Here's a thought. Why don't you all sit down together in a room before you start making decisions and shut your mouth and say, we are in the active process of coming together as a committee and putting this together on who we want to go get as next head coach. That's all you had to say. He could have gave a non-answer to the Verge Ausberry Hush Blackwell thing. He said, we're moving forward with Verge Ausberry. And what are they going to say? There's nothing that they can say. If you back him, then back him. Don't backtrack on him. God was so dumb. Ricky Pope with a $5 super chat says LSU stands for Landry. Shut up. I don't disagree. Should be a chant for the next LSU home game. Maybe they will. He says, not you, the politics. I wish it would stop too, Ricky. I really do. Trust me. Trust me. I wish it would stop. But the future and direction of not only your football program is at stake here. I don't think y'all get that. I don't. Guys, does your next couple of decisions make Kim Mulkey retire? Does your next couple of decisions make Jay Johnson uncomfortable? Guys, you think the unthinkable won't happen? Shit. One thing I know that everybody, if you say that Blakey wouldn't have, shit. Bet you thought Tony Vitello wouldn't go to San Francisco either. God bless it. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says, they thought they could pull off a coup and still get a great head coach. Then they stepped in on their own tallywhackers. Better hope to find a good head coach in high school. They did try to pull a coup, and it backfired. Guys, here's the thing. Steven is right. LSU, behind the scenes, tried to pull off a coup politically. Getting Brian Kelly out. Getting Scott Wilbert out. Getting out William Tate. And when they pulled this coup, when the governor got the board of supervisors and was able to appoint the people that he wanted to appoint from within, which he gets to do, I think in July, I think it's July the 1st, he gets to do that again. They try to pull off a coup. And that coup has been very messy. It's been very dysfunctional. And right now, it's giving you nothing but complete chaos. Guys, this is a political coup from an athletics department, from a guy who, before all of this happened, had meddled in LSU athletics over and over and over and over again, and you thought he wasn't going to do it again, and he did it at the highest order, and it's backfiring on you right now. You better pray to God you get a really good head coach, because potentially his political career is on the line because of it. One thing that you don't mess with people in Louisiana on, the head football coach at LSU and crawfish season. You just don't fuck that up. Piss down his pants. All right, last one before we get to a quick break and we talk a little bit about football here. Adam says the circus has pissed me off for the same reason I was pissed off when BK was coaching. I feel like I could do a better job. Guys, it's not that difficult. You showed last night that you could hire an AD like that. Okay? Why don't you go through 3 weeks of interviewing, 4 weeks of interviewing ADs, and when you got a guy, say, hey, this is the guy I want leading our athletics department, or girl that I want leading our athletics department, we're moving forward. So when the day comes, when you're sliding that piece of paper, Billy Bean style in Moneyball with the Red Sox, when you're sliding that piece of paper over to Lane Kiffin or whoever in the hell it is, and it says 7 years, $15 million a year, and he goes, what about your AD? Hey, man, this is the best AD in the country, and we're going to go raise you money to get a national title. You didn't have to say anything else. Just not good. Jeffrey became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you for doing that. He also sent in a $2 super chat. Jeffrey, I greatly appreciate you for joining the show. Last one, then we're going to get to a quick break here. Hanville07 with a $2 super chat says LSU is headed back to the 90s. LSU recruits to Texas. I hope not. You better find stability, and you better find it quickly. You better find it quickly. But guys, here's my worry right now. Here, I can be wrong. I'm worried. It doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. My worry right now for LSU is that with all of this circus and all of the wrong decisions that you're making every single day, what gives me the confidence that when it comes time to hire a head coach, that you make the right one? What confidence have you given this fan base that you, after making bad decision after bad decision over the last couple of weeks, that you give anybody that's a fan of LSU the confidence that you'll make a right one? How? How? I'm not saying it's a bad decision to move on from Brian Kelly for what it's worth. I'm not completely saying it was a bad decision to walk away from Scott Woodward. What I am saying is going out there and saying we're not going to spend that level of money. And it's also bad when you're calling for guys, I don't care what you tell me. He's calling for these agents, meaning Jeff Landry, to be disbarred. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I would have gone at it in a different way. Just makes no sense. Let me get to a quick break. We're going to talk about Miami. Going to talk about Alabama and LSU next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotions. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority. We're back. LSU's report of players that will be acceptable, that will be in the game this week, meaning the injury report, has Carius Kern as probable, Whit Weeks as questionable, Zach Weeks as doubtful. So maybe Frank Wilson today on the SEC teleconference got the Weeks brothers mixed up there. And Gabe Rutherford and Tyree Adams are out. Look, man, you need Whit Weeks to go this week. Bottom line, you need Whit Weeks to go. So do I think that he will go? I don't know. I think it's going to be a very much game time decision here. How much pain can Whit Weeks tolerate on that bruised bone in his ankle? I asked a really good friend of mine who was a doctor today, and I just asked him, and some of you, if you're an LSU fan, are going to know who he is if you're on message board, whatever. But I asked him, hey, can you break down a bone bruise for me? And he told me, look, 4 to 6 weeks. It really comes down to pain tolerance. And in that pain tolerance, how much can you withstand? Frank Wilson today brought up that Whit Weeks can run linear, but when it comes to him doing stuff side to side, it gets a little bit too much for him. Look, man, I hope he's able to go. Can he give you 70% of the snaps? Can he go at all? You know, does he run the risk of getting re-injured? Because if he does run the risk of getting re-injured, I'm not playing him. Right? It makes zero sense for him to do that and for him to be in that situation at all. So we'll see what happens with Whit Weeks here moving forward. All right, I see a super chat flying in here. We'll get to those at the end. So on Wednesdays, what we normally do without the complete chaos of a coaching search and AD and presidential stuff that's going on, we get to what I think LSU's got to do to win the game and things that they got to avoid. Tonight, I'm completely scratching away the things that you got to avoid. I think that you and I have been around a situation when it revolves LSU that's been highly negative. I'm not even talking about the things that I think LSU does bad and the things that they don't need to do. Let's not even talk about the negatives. For once, over the last 10 days, let's talk about some positives here. I think a lot of people look at this situation with LSU going into Tuscaloosa this week and say, listen, you have a brand new head coach in Frank Wilson. You have a brand new coordinator. You got some injuries at key positions like left tackle and middle linebacker. You haven't been great as a team so far this year. Is there even remotely a chance that you can go into T-Town and pull off what would be one of the wildest upsets of the season after what has happened the last 10 days with LSU and the coaching search and the governor and the president and the AD and all of this situation? How wild would it be if you found a way to walk into Tuscaloosa and beat the number 4 team in the country? Guys, I do think that there's legitimately a chance that you can do it. Let me explain. I thought 2 weeks ago the matchup between LSU and Texas A&M, it was a bad matchup for you. Anytime that there's a quarterback that can run, it's against Blake Baker, is a bad matchup for you. I do think Alabama, for what it's worth, is a better matchup for you, mainly due to what Ty Simpson is and who he is. Is he mobile? To an extent. Is he going to run for 41 yards and a score like Marcel Reed did a couple of weeks ago? No, he's not. At least I hope that he's not. However, I do think that this is a better matchup for you. I also want to point out something too. LSU still led at halftime versus A&M before complete chaos ensued, before Joe Sloan went into his hermit shell, before Garrett Nussmeier forgot that you need to get vertical in the passing game. The one thing that LSU has got to do this week, it's a must. Frank Wilson has talked about it. I think it's the right thing at the current moment. You got to run the football. Blake, we can't. We're 122nd in the country in rushing. Yeah, but a lot of that's got to do with you're not running the ball enough. The attempts are not there. Frank Wilson on Monday completely threw Joe Sloan under the bus. Whether you want to admit it or not, he did in his press conference, saying, we panicked against A&M, we went away from the run game too soon, and we got blown out because of it. I agree with him. I completely agree with him. I've said this a lot, and I'm going to repeat it again. LSU, with their running backs, has done a very good job the last month at actually running the ball. Blake, no, we haven't. Yes, we have. You're not doing it enough. Guys, if I would have told you in the beginning of the season between Harlan Berry, Caden Durham, and Jawan Johnson that in the heart of your season that you would have the heart of your season with your running back core that you would average 6 yards a carry, you would say, shit, Blake, the offensive line really figured some things out. You really got that moving. But you kind of haven't because you didn't stick with it enough. Because this Alabama team, when I look at them, I see a team in the run game defensively that can be undisciplined, that can get out of assignment, that can get out of alignment, but that also is very physical, will meet you at the point of attack. And if you're able to confuse them and show them things that they're not ready for, they're not great with making a lot of in-game adjustments. Let me explain. Guys, I look at some of these games, whether it be Florida State, whether it be South Carolina, whether it be Alabama whether it be Georgia in the second half, when adjustments were made and Alabama wasn't ready for something, they gave up massive yards in the run game. If South Carolina, who just fired their offensive coordinator as well, a team that you beat, by the way, can have success in the running game, which they are the worst team in the SEC in rushing, so can you. I do think that you've found something here. I think Harlan Berry has been a massive jolt to your offense. And I think that you actually can run the ball on them. This is not like the Nick Saban Alabama teams of old that you can't line up and run the ball on them. They are 72nd in the country in run defense. They have not been good at all. They have had massive issues up front. They have had massive issues in alignment. I do think that one of the biggest narratives over the last month is LSU's run offense is ass. Sure, from a statistical analysis standpoint, if you look at it from a whole, because Garrett Nussmeier is averaging 25 to 30 yards negatively in sacks, yeah, I agree with you there. Handing the ball off with your running backs has been a massive positive. It seems as if that Frank Wilson is going to lean on that running game. Now, I don't know, and I'm not going to act like I know what is going to happen this week at the quarterback position. If you're asking me my opinion, and this is my opinion, I don't know. If you're asking me my opinion on the matter, it seems as if that they're going to give Michael Van Buren a lot of chances here. And when I say a lot, guys, does he see 10 snaps in this game? Does he see 15 snaps in this game? If you listen to Frank Wilson today on the SEC teleconference, it surely sounds that way. And it surely sounds like that Garrett Nussmeier's leash might be shorter than maybe even I imagined. We did talk about that in great detail today on the members-only chat and members-only content on the YouTube channel. Subscribe there or go and become a member. We greatly appreciate it. You're going to have to suffocate this time of possession. The best thing and the best way to keep what can be a very explosive offense from not being explosive offensively is to keep them off the damn field. The only thing that I know of what to expect from this team offensively going into this game is that I think that you're going to lean on the run game more. I do think Michael Van Buren's going to be involved. And I think that you're going to give Garrett Nussmeier some easy throws and say, go manage the game. You can run on Alabama. Guys, you can. You can run on them. And if you manage the game correctly, you have a chance. I don't know if you can beat them. Now, LSU is a 9.5-point underdog against Alabama on FanDuel. Our good partners over at FanDuel. You can go place that bet, download the FD Sportsbook app, but they are a 9.5-point dog on FanDuel. The way that you stay in this game, you gotta sustain the run game. Guys, if you're averaging 4.5 yards per carry, you're going to be in this one. I got to be real with you. I am eliminating a lot of the Garrett Nussmeier decisions. I am giving him one. Let me backtrack how I'm going to say this. I am giving him 2 reads and a check down and saying to him, if that is not open, you're going to have to man up here, tuck that football, and run the ball. Bottom line. If you win the time of possession, you have a very, very good chance of winning this game. Now, the other thing that Alabama has gotten better at, but they still struggle massively at the current moment. Alabama is 54th in the country in third down defense. However, they're 103rd in the country on third down when the down and distance is 3rd and 5 or shorter. 11 of those conversions come against one team, that being Georgia. Excuse me, not 11. Sorry. 7 of those come against Georgia. The 2 weakest links for them is their run game and getting off the field on third down when you're given manageable field position. This team is going to run man, and they're going to run quarters. I do think Michael Van Buren, for what it's worth, gives you the best ability to win this game. I don't think he's not going to start per Frank Wilson. I get it. But there is a chink in this armor that you can attack. Those two things are the must things that you have to happen. If you are in 3rd and 5 shorter consistently, guys, you're going to have a really good chance at upsetting them. You know, with all of the craziness that's happened, I honestly thought LSU would be worse than a 9.5-point underdog on FanDuel. I don't know how you mix that in there in their algorithm, but I thought that they would be. Now, our good friends over at FanDuel, after the A&M game, had this game as a spread at 6.5. It's moved to 9.5 after the blowout loss to A&M. You're going to have to convert and get close and give Garrett a shot if he's going to be the mainstay quarterback here. A couple other things before we get out of here and take some comments and super chats. Alabama also struggles running the ball. If you go and look at LSU defensively, teams that have given them problems in the run game has not historically this season come from the running back position. LSU's done a good job. Now, Vandy got some movement on you, but you were able to contain the running back position here. LSU's done a really good job at stopping the running backs and containing them. I think that they can do that this week. I think that they will actually do that this week better than maybe some anticipated. And I think that you're going to slow down Jam Miller and the boys from Alabama. They have had a very tough time sustaining any run game. The best game that they've had all season against a team running the football was Vanderbilt. And really, they just, in the second half, had a lot of the time of possession and just leaned on Vandy and leaned on their depth. They're 114th in the country in rushing. 114th. And I'm just going to say this. I think you're going to have some success stopping the run. Now, Ty Simpson in this passing game has been very good. And I'm going to get to the last thing that you got to do here to win. But, man, their offensive line has had issues. When you stack that box against them, they have had issues. When you don't stack the box against them, they have had massive issues. You've had really good success in stopping the run when there's not a mobile quarterback. Can LSU do that here? Last but not least, what LSU's got to do, non-negotiable. Where's the pressure coming from? Are you going to be able to get pressure on Ty Simpson? I don't know why LSU and Blake Baker has gone away from sending pressure. I don't. There is a theory out there that Brian Kelly managed and game planned the situation for Blake to not send the amount of pressure that he normally would against running quarterbacks. Apparently, from some things that I hear, Brian Kelly does not like that strategy. Well, you're not facing one this week. Guys, I am going to live and die with Mansour Delane, PJ Woodland, and DJ Pickett. And if you beat me with it, you beat me with it. But Ty Simpson has had a problem at being under pressure and teams sending the house after him. A lot like what teams have done on Garrett Nussmeier. Simpson's a good athlete, not a great athlete. But I think every week Ty Simpson shows up in an Alabama uniform this year, he's been the most prepared quarterback, not only on the field, but sometimes in the country. He knows what you're throwing at him. You got to confuse him, and you got to send a lot of heat after him. He's had 3 fumbles this year 4 fumbles this year, 3 of which have been lost because teams just send an ungodly amount of pressure on him. That Missouri game was so close because all they did was send pressure after Ty Simpson all day, and their secondary is not better than yours. Why don't you take a playbook, the game plan out of another team's playbook and just constantly send pressure after his ass? Do you have to rotate? Do you have to kind of scheme things where you do and don't? I get all of that. Because I'm sending pressure after him all night, and I'm making him beat us, and I'm getting after him, and I'm hitting him as many times as I can and say, get up and make the throw again. He's done a great job at doing it, but I'm sending a massive amount of pressure. All right. Let's get to some of these super chats. Looks like LSU, for what it's worth, basketball-wise, is up at halftime 47-31. So good for them. Let's get to some of these super chats here. Ricky Pope with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Ricky. He says, Blake, I was not saying that you or anyone else stay out of LSU business. I meant the governor. I got you, buddy. My bad. I misread it. And anyone else who knows nothing about what LSU is staying out. Love your show and content right now. You're the only straight shooter. Ricky, I appreciate that, buddy. Listen, I get what you're saying. I must have just misread your comment there. It's driving me nuts. These people and these LSU fans that are saying stay out of all this business, quite frankly, what are we doing? You're asking a guy who built a business on talking LSU sports to not talk about the meddling that's going on and the complete circus show that's going on with the athletics director. It's dumb. It's so dumb. All right, one more and then we're getting out of here. Stephen Young says, my dad always told me that when you're asked a question publicly, answer it with the most truth possible without boxing yourself in. He was an Army LTC and counterintelligence. This admin is incompetent. I mean, they're showing that. They're showing that right now. It's been a complete dumpster fire. It really has. So everybody going through all of this right now, like all of this stuff that they're doing, it's been a joke. It's been a complete joke. All right. We'll see y'all soon. We're out of here. Y'all have a good night. Peace.